welcome to the Art of Relationships show. Hey, Easton, welcome aboard. How many people have ever had a day where you want to go back to bed for the most part and fall asleep again, right? So waking up this morning, Michigan, right, is a perfect definition of bipolar. Here in Metro Detroit, it was 70 degrees yesterday. Today, get up, it's just a spring coat on, and you walk up, and this morning it's freaking 29 degrees, right? So I think that was about the high for today again. So welcome to the Art of Relationships show, and going to be talking about anything you want to talk about, right? Talk about what is the best relationship, marriage advice, dating advice you have ever received? So I'd love to talk about that. What yours is, and maybe everybody else's is out there. Why we're getting more listeners and viewers out there. My voice is shot. Excuse me. Allergies kicking up a little bit like they do a lot of times. Okay. So looking at the best relationship advice, marriage advice you have gotten, and did you think about that it was, let's face it, that it was great advice then, and you took it, and later on you found out this advice sucks, right? It's not great at all. So a lot of people are able to look at, and I know my voice is going, hey, Slim Jim, what's happening, man? So you can join in the live chat down below. You can share on your timeline, on your page, wherever you're listening to, that you can, listen in and, share it on your page. I want to help as many people out there as possible. Like I mentioned on every episode, little disclosures to get out of the way is, this does not replace the actual, let me move my mic a little bit closer so people can hear. This does not replace the actual professional counseling that I do in my office. I'll do my best to help you out with the questions, of course. Hey, Derek, what's going on, man? So to be able to help you out, with consents, HIPAA, privacy aspects, and here I can't, guarantee that on this platform, but I want to use the same insights that I do with my professional counseling practice that I do in my office. So as people, I rushed home. I left my office probably about 7:35 and hurry up, rush home, fed the dogs. I do have a couple puppies, right? Well, they're not puppies, but anyways, fed them, hurry up, get ready. And I actually had, I think, 2 minutes to go going live. So my brain's all frazzled. My voice is shot. So kicking it off with any topic you have that you want to talk about regarding dating, relationships, marriage, intimacy, yes, sex, people. I'll do the best I can to answer it and help you out as much as possible. Like I tell people, hey, B, what's going on? So I want people to throw out questions regarding, doesn't have to align with the topic of the show, or topic of the week. I want to help as many people out there as possible, to promote self-love, self-respect, definitely. And also to be able to help you have the best relationship that you want. Hey, Heather, Andrew. Hey, Chris, what's going on, man? Hey, my friend, what's happening? Same to you, brother. What's going on? I hope life is good where you're at. So to be able to look at, helping you realistically, and I don't blow smoke up people's booties. That's not me. I tell my couples and clients in my office, I'm real. I'm legit. I don't blow smoke up people's butt just to make them, be happy and all this. It's fake. It's a facade. I'm very genuine, very legit. So I'm going to do the best I can to answer your questions this evening, to help you out. I want people to have a great relationship, right? Nothing's perfect. I'm a realist. Okay. I want you to have a more connected relationship, marriage, dating experience. If that's where you're at, you're single, maybe you're dating, maybe you're looking at those situations. And I hear it all the time about how much dating sucks, right? Dating's not good, whatever. So, talking about starting it off, what is some of the best advice that you were giving about marriage, about dating, about your relationship life, how it should be, right? And I talked about this um, other episodes, right? We have the world, right? Our friends, our family. We have all kind of people talking about and dictating, what's going on. Oops, sorry. What's going on in your life or how you should be, how a marriage should be. And I tell people, who decides that but you? But advice here and there, you know what, doesn't hurt. But some advice can hurt us, right? Because it could be biased, it could be judgmental. So I want to hear your comments down below, people. What is some of the best advice that you have gotten about marriage, about relationships, about marriage, right? Everybody talk about how many people have heard this one, right? You should marry your best friend. Yeah, right? Means well. But what if you marry your best friend and there's no chemistry, right? There's no sexual attraction. There's not the romantic vibes going on, but you marry your best friend and you end up being best friends, right? If you're happy and that's what you want, and I've talked about this in other episodes, that's fine. It's not a right or wrong. How many people have gotten that advice, right? That, oh, you know what? Sex doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to you. And you're supposed to believe that, right? Again, that's subjective, right? Maybe you want someone that you have that sexual attraction. I know I do, but I also don't just want that. I would want the emotional connection. I want the mental, I almost said medical, right? Mental connection, that type of situation in your relationship. And what are you looking for? And what is some of the advice you've given? And like I said before at the beginning, you can ask any questions you want pertaining to dating, relationship, marriage, sex advice, intimacy, right? Whatever I can do to help people have that dynamic relationship that you're looking for and that you want. And again, it's not a bias aspect. It's not about that, right? It's about yummy. What's yummy? I'd love to hear what the heck yummy is. Yummy joined. So who is yummy, right? Jay Driver, appreciate you. Corey, welcome to the show. And as always, you can share this on your timeline, your page, wherever you're, viewing it from. I want to be able to help as many people as possible, with their relationship, dating, marriage challenges. And it's legit. I am actually a fully licensed professional counselor. Have been for a long time, over 21 and a half years now. And I actually specialize with couples, with betrayals, with affairs, sexual challenges, that type of stuff. And trying to, everyone talks about communication issues, right? And it's about, do you actually understand what each other's saying? Or is it that you're not hearing what you want to hear? So there's a big difference when it comes into this dynamic and talking about the best advice you ever heard, right? Marry your best friend, marry someone that can grow oats, marry someone that makes you rich, marry someone who can be a team member, right? A great team member. Hey, Sean. So, what is also, marry someone that is the same faith as you, the same religion as you, marry someone that is, educated or that isn't educated. There's so many aspects to go after, to be able to look at those aspects. Oh, Chris, thanks. I'm flattered. You have a man crush? Maybe we have a man crush on each other. No, I appreciate it. And a wonderful mentor and professor in the past. No, I appreciate Chris, man. I'm flattered. You're going to make me blush. I appreciate you. And yeah, I did, Chris just mentioned, I did private practice for a long time, professional counselor. I taught college classes for a long time too, a lot of years, a couple grad school classes, centered on relationships, sexual intimacy challenges, grief, A lot of, I have a lot of grief and trauma experience as well. So, Chris, I'm very flattered, man. I appreciate it. So, looking at what you're looking for in a relationship, and a lot of people try to dictate, that's why I said that might mean well. Um, but what people did you listen to about their advice, about a relationship, about what a marriage should be? I already mentioned, marry your best friend, marry someone that you're not going to be poor with, marry someone. There's so much stuff. Whose advice did you listen to the most? Was it a parent? Was it a grandparent? Was it a friend, an aunt, an uncle? Maybe it was a teacher. Maybe it was a mentor of yours that you had a lot of, respect for, and a lot of, that you trusted greatly. And as you looked at that, and I work with people from all type of ages, from 18, 19 years old on up into their 70s, right? So I work with a wide range of people, and a lot of people, yeah, I did used to also specialize with kids and teens, right? Severe trauma, severe sexual abuse. So I could go on and on about that too. So I work with a wide range of kids, adults. I don't work with kids any longer, but I work with a wide range of people. So, and even viewing the show, there could be 18, 19, whatever, early 20s on up to people in their 60s, 70s. And looking at the advice you've gotten, did you learn that it was, man, you know what? Regrets. I should have listened to it. Man, I should have took that advice, and that bit me in the butt, right? I should have listened. Also looking at maybe there was some advice you did take, and then you realized that was the biggest mistake in your life. And a lot of people will look at, you know what? Hey, you know what? Oh, marry that nice girl, marry that nice guy. And then oh, I don't really love that person, but I'm supposed to marry that nice person. We all want a nice person. There's a difference. There's a difference between a nice person and a doormat, right? There's a difference between a good person, between being, you know what, they don't have a backbone type of thing. The what do you want to call it? The doormat, right? They're always the people pleaser, if you will. And then you marry them, and then you find out, man, I'm bored. I don't have any chemistry. I don't have any connection. I don't have that. People hear about the masculine, feminine energy. I look at that. You don't have that. That sort of pull with each other, right? That you can sort of disagree with each other. You have that chemistry that you hold on to your own individuality, and you can be challenged that person, where a doormat or a people pleasing will, oh, yes, dear, whatever you want. That's not healthy, for one thing. But again, you're not challenged. You get your way all the time. That people can just bulldoze over that person, and you realize that maybe advice you got, marry that good girl, that, good boy, that type of thing, is sort of boring. And you look at, man, I wish I would have never listened to it. What other advice should you have listened? How many people did the opposite, and they married that, whatever you want to, I don't like labels too much, but that bad boy, that bad, nasty girl. Oh, yeah, baby. And you're looking at, what, man, I should have followed. I shouldn't have, I knew what they were all about, and I shouldn't have done it, right? I should have took the advice to walk away from it, and now I regret it. After being married, a couple kids, I'm like, what was I thinking, right? We always been there. So it's looking at, the compatibility, and what advice do you look at? Oh no, it froze up a little bit. I have no idea what happened. So let me know what your question is. But not only your question, I want to know what the best advice you have heard, so you can help other people out there. And maybe, like I said, the best advice you got, but maybe also the advice that wasn't so great, that you can listen to, or help people, don't listen to this stuff, right? Or maybe listen to this stuff. Because you can have people that give, maybe in their intent is great advice, but it might not be great advice for you. maybe you're getting advice that's biased, that someone is, maybe they've been married a long time, great, but they also have great, advice that might be biased and judgmental because of their own experiences, right? And I'm talking about their own experience can be very helpful, but it also can be biased and judgmental, right? Like all women are evil, all men are evil, that type of situation. And you look at um, those type of situations and you try to look at where do you pull your information from? What's good for you? And I'm huge, as a lot of people might be listening, viewing the show, I'm huge on gut instinct and trying to separate or differentiate between your gut instinct and what your heart is telling you, right? And people, if you've listened to me before, I talk about the trauma brain, right? The trauma brain is trying to protect you, trying to protect your psyche. And it means well. Again, the intent is great, but that trauma brain could also do more damage because it could be like, remember this happened to you, remember this happened to you. Again, it's trying to protect you, but then it also might make you do something that is not maybe actually healthy, or it might make you more paranoid and make you more too cautious with life and decision making instead of listening to your gut instinct. And as people know, I want to quiet that trauma brain down and I want the heart and gut to align. And looking at, what advice were you maybe battling with when you were married, went through a divorce, or maybe you're out there now looking to get married and find that great person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, that there's that that tug of war, but in a healthy way. You can sort of banter back and forth. You can challenge each other, and it's not just hearing what you want to hear. A lot of people think, right? Oh, yeah, I love to hear what I want to hear, but then they're bored with it, right? Because you never challenge me, you never disagree with me. And it's funny how many people, and I'm going to throw maybe women under the bus, a lot of women they won't ever maybe admit this, but a lot of women they challenge men. And I'll say in, heterosexual relationships, same sex relationships, it does happen too. But in heterosexual relationships, they're waiting for a guy to challenge them, to tell them no. And I'm not talking disrespectful, mean, not at all. They're seeing if they can bulldoze that person over. And it's almost like in their DNA, right? I don't want a doormat. I don't want that type of thing. Moose Knuckle, what the heck's a Moose Knuckle? Hey, welcome to the show. Sweet Adeline, hey, what's happening? So throw your comments, your questions out there. What is some of the best advice, some of the worst advice that you have gotten, you have received throughout your life, okay? And also, like I said, you can throw out your questions, your comments regarding any topic, any challenge maybe you're dealing with, you're having in your dating life, your relationship, your marriage, maybe your sexual challenges, okay? Tell your family about your money. Moose Knuckle, hit me up. Can you be more specific about tell your family about your money? Can you be a little bit more specific about that? Are you saying, I could take this either way. So I'm looking for more specific. Are you looking at, are you supposed to, don't tell your family. I got you. You know what? Now that's good advice, right? And because that can be convoluted, that can be very challenging. No, okay, there we go. I appreciate, man. Peace. So looking at a lot of, you tell your family about money, whatever, and maybe they're coming after you. Maybe they're always hitting you up for a loan that they're not intending to pay back. Maybe they want you to take care of them financially instead of being able to stand on their own feet and to be able to look at, helping out. I'm all about helping people out, right? But you don't want to keep helping people out that you're enabling people. You keep helping people out that are not going to be able to help. They never help themselves out. You get me? So, or the situation where maybe you need a hand and they're not there having your back either. Peachy Queen, what's going on? So a lot of people look at, and I like that, don't tell your family about money because it might be coming with their hand out, and being able to help, being able to understand. And I get that. That's one thing, but there's a difference to have limits and boundaries when it comes into that. And this is one thing I tell people, and I do a lot of premarital counseling as well with all ages, right? People that have been married before, been married twice, get married a third time, get married a first time, maybe young, whatever. And I tell them about, boundaries, and I tell them about expectations with family members, just like Moose Knuckle mentioned about, family members, friends. What are your boundaries with them? Does it mean that, oh, you're going to give your family, help them, your sister, your brother, your mom, dad, whatever, right? Cousin, that you're going to help them out and give them money, but you're not going to talk to your partner about that? What are your boundaries when it comes to that and your expectations about that? So when it comes to, has anybody ever heard advice from family? They tell you maybe what type to marry, what you should look for, all this stuff. But do they ever tell you about boundaries and what healthy boundaries are for you in your relationship? And does your family or who you're getting that advice from, do they ever promote self-love and self-respect when they're talking about the best relationship or marriage advice you ever received? So a lot of people be able to look at, I heard about this, I heard about that, but when they come to boundaries in relationships, they don't get into that situation, okay? So you look at that and they never talk about, boundaries, because maybe some of those family members don't want you to have boundaries. They want you to keep giving, 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 giving. And this is not only with money. This could also be with your time, helping them out. Always helping them out, right? Always having their back, but they're not there for you. So that's what it comes into about advice about self-love and self-respect. Now, take a drink of water. Like I said, my voice is shot from a long day in the office, which it is every Wednesday night, right? So, another great question. What about joint bank accounts in a relationship? Oh my God, this is a great question. And I deal with this a lot. Like I said, all ages, people that have been through a divorce, maybe 2 divorces, wanting to get married a third time. No big deal, no judgment. Love is love, right? So, about joint bank accounts, my first question is asking each individual, right, in that relationship, how do you want things to be? What are your plans? Have you talked about it? And they look about, one is thinking one way and the other one's thinking another way, but they never talk about it, right? So, well, I thought we'd do that. And the other one's like, oh, we never talked about it. We never, hey, Ehab, my buddy, my Egyptian friend, man, what's happening? But be able to go on, hello, my friend, hello back, man. But being able to go after about joint bank accounts, I'm doing okay. I'm tired as usual, man. I hope you're good. But sorry, Moose Knuckle, sorry about that. But going back to bank accounts, okay, I look at, because you're married, living together, that doesn't mean you have to have everything in one bank account, joint bank accounts, okay? If you want that and it works out for you, great, that's terrific. I'm not saying it's a bad or you shouldn't do it. It's what works best for each relationship, each couple, each dynamic. And that is different for everybody. So it's about being able to talk about it. Hey, what are your thoughts? Maybe you can have, all the bills. You have one joint account where all the bill money goes, household, whatever, rent, mortgage, taxes, groceries, toiletries, that type of stuff, car insurance, car paint, whatever. So you can have where all the bill money, and then you can have your own separate accounts and do whatever you want, right? So it's not a one size fits all. It's whatever works for each individual in each couplehood. And that's my advice when it comes to joint bank accounts. Okay. It's not a one size fits all. It's, let's be honest, right? Like anything else, if one person wants all the money together and the other one is strongly opposed to it, that's where the issues come out. And that's where you have to look at what works for you and what works not, you know, best for you. EHOB. Okay. It's not pessimistic to have a mutual release plan. And I know, Egyptian and Arabic you speak. It's not it's not negative to have mutual release plan. No, I agree. And I think that is about that situation. And this is about what works best for each individual. And I know, we could talk, I'm glad, EHOB, man, I appreciate you popping in. And I know we have to do another show together too. So, like, EHOB is Egyptian, right? He's in Cairo, Egypt. And if you're ever going to Cairo, Egypt, you need to hit up EHOB. He'll show you around Cairo. That's what he does. And he loves helping people out, showing you all the nice stuff about Cairo and about Egypt and Cairo. Sorry. But tell him out, hit him up. So, but with different cultures, you have different religious belief, maybe how you're raised. All this can play a role on, joint bank accounts, that type of stuff, and how you handle finances and bills. And again, because you were raised a certain way, that doesn't mean it's going to work for you and your partner now. Okay? So this is where you have to look at, you know what? Because I was raised this way, and everybody is raised, I'm raised this way, so that is what's right. Not necessarily. You get me? So that's where I want people to be more open and be more flexible. What worked for maybe my parents, grandparents, whoever raised me, or aunt, uncle, whatever, that might work great for them, but it might not work well for your relationship. So that's where I tell people, I want you to be flexible and I want you to be open-minded to be able to talk about these questions. And this is not only, finances, it could be sex, it could be how you spend time together, right? What your view of a man, of a woman, of what that is, how you both want to integrate that, okay? Now, what about if she has a guy friend? And I'm assuming you mean that she has a guy friend. I'm assuming that she is heterosexual. I'm going to assume that. I shouldn't. But say she's heterosexual, has a guy friend. Then you have to look at our boundaries in place. And this goes, you could look at heterosexual with, you could have a guy with a female friend, right? It works no different. It's the same. But you look at boundaries and you look at, is that guy friend, are they more of a priority than the relationship or the marriage? Then that might be an issue, right? And this could go for anything else, but you have to look at boundaries. And I'm looking at, being nice, being open, but not being stupid either, not being gullible, not being naive, and being able to look at, oh, you don't trust me. And a lot of people flip the script, but we've been friends forever. We've been friends for whatever, right? But now you look at, okay, it might matter. I respect that. But that's where you have to look at the rules and boundaries for the relationship when it comes to opposite sex, right? Friends, but also not only that, in same-sex relationships, you also look at threats to the relationship and what are boundaries of the relationship. When you're first dating, relationship is new, you know what, that's going to be different. But as the relationship evolves and you're thinking about, you're being exclusive now, thinking about moving in together or getting married, you have to look at any threat to that relationship needs to go bye-bye. That's usually what I tell people. There's a distance. Are you able to respect that? Sarah Jones, what's happening, man? Sassy lady. Yay, Greg. So that's where I want people to be able to get in there. JP, what's happening, man? So that's where I need to be able to look at, you know, what type of threat is it to that relationship, that man, that woman, girl, boy, whatever. And that's where I want people to understand. And they're going to say, well, I'm not, you're making me pick my friends up. No, you can do whatever you want. Right. And that's where the hardship comes in. And that's where I want people to be able to look at, you know, what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. And, you know, a lot of people, they'll flip the script with this, men, if they have female friend. I hear this on a weekly basis, actually, in my office. And you'd be able to look at, you know, are they friends? Are they talking every day? You have to look at what the boundaries and rules are in the relationship and expectations. It's the same thing. And I did a thing about social media, right? Do you have exes that are still friends on social media? What are your thoughts about that, right? What are your thoughts about friends, exes? We'll say that your exes are still friends with you on social media, that you still converse with them. And I'm not talking co-parenting. That's different. I'm talking, you know, you still talk to each other. You still maybe flirt back and forth. Oh, we're exes for a reason. And you throw this line out, but then the other person, oh, you're jealous for no reason. You're jealous for no reason. But is it really jealousy, or is it are you disrespecting your new partner, as I trip over my tongue, as always, okay? So, trip over my tongue, I do it every week. So, looking at, does it disrespect the relationship, new relationship? Does it disrespect the new marriage that you still have friends? And I have people, I posted this last week on social media. Oh, thanks for the heart. I appreciate it. So looking at those type of situations to where, and they're going to say, well, you're jealous, and they flip the script. It's about understanding, again, how you impact each other, what you do, how it impacts that other. And are you making them feel secure? Are you making them feel respected? Are you making them feel loved, important, a priority? Or is that X seem to be more of a priority to you? And I run into this a lot, that some people are still there for their exes and they have no kids involved, right? They're helping them out financially. They're helping them out co-signing for a vehicle, an apartment. You get me? And I'm like, what are you doing? Well, they're a good person and da 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 da, and I'm in the position to help. I hear this all the time, okay? So this is where I want people to be able to understand, what does your partner or new partner think about it, right? What does your new wife, husband, whatever, are they okay with this situation? Have you even thought about what the hell's with the cowboy hat, mustache? Maybe I got hair. But that's where I want people to be able to understand about the rules and boundaries and what it comes to that situation. So go ahead, share this on your page, your timeline. I love the questions. They're great questions when it comes into this situation about, you know, boundaries and rules with other people, you know, people that threaten a relationship or the marriage, you know, saying X. Maybe it's, you know, other situation when it comes down to, like I said, an ex. It could be a opposite sex friend that is a threat to the relationship, and they're like blinded, right? Maybe they're blinded about the situation, about being able to look at, oh, they're just a friend. They don't really want me, and they don't really. But then you have to be able to look at, you know what, is this disrespectful to my new person? Or do you flip the script and try to just put it on your new person? Oh, you're just jealous. You're crazy. You're all this, right? That's being disrespectful. And that tells me and tells your person that they're not important. They're not a priority. And I'm not talking obsessive, paranoid. I'm not talking that stuff. I'm talking the reality about how you want your relationship and how you want your marriage to be. And again, if you both are okay with it and you both are cool with it, then there's no issue. That's fine. You both have the same rules, and it's not a double standard where, oh, she can have a guy friend, but you better not have a friend that's a woman, or she has an issue. I'm not about double standards. So that's why I'm huge on expectations and how you want to be and how you want to live your life. Again, nothing's perfect, people. I tell people heard me. You're listening now. You heard me before. I'm a realist, okay? I don't want bad stuff to happen. I want you to be able to approach it and to be able to look at how are you going to handle disagreements, right? How are you going to handle expectations? And a lot of people might give you advice for your relationship, for a marriage, okay? Oh, Sarah, thanks. I can confirm Greg is the realest person I know, honestly. Oh, much love, Sarah. I appreciate you. And I have to stop in. Anybody, if you're in Southfield area, stop into Martin's Coney Island. You know what? I got to have Soko, the owner of Martin's, got to pay me a frickin' advertising fee, right? No, Martin's Coney Island. I'll stop in. Actually, I'll be able to stop in tomorrow, Sarah, and see you guys there. So, no, I appreciate it. Thanks. They actually got awesome food. Even though it's a Coney Island, I call it's a gourmet Coney Island, if you will. The food's great on 10 Mile and Lasher in Southfield. So check it out. If you're ever in the area, right? So, oh yeah, Ehab, we mentioned, you might have heard me before. When are we going to have a cross-cultural live? Let me know when you're available. I know the time frame is, I can't remember what the time frame is, if it's a 6-hour time difference. And I know it's been a long time. We need to have that and enlighten people. I love, that. We have a good time. We have a lot of fun doing it. So let me know, like what times work for you, and we can absolutely, 6 hours. I thought so. But we can do that. Message me on Facebook like we usually do and hit me up. And absolutely, man, it's been too long. We need to do that again, my friend. Okay. So, okay, we'll touch up with each other and have a cross-cultural, with the, Muslim experience and, as far as the Middle Eastern with, Western culture and civilization and, different views and stuff. And it's great. And Ehab's he's a great guy. He's a great dude. So, we have much love and a lot of respect for one another too, and different cultures. And I love it. So that's where I want people to be able to understand differences in how you want to live. And that doesn't mean that you have to be okay with everything. No, you have to look at, how you want your life, what is important to you, and what deems you as the most important aspects about how you want a relationship. So you look at, a lot of people talk about, certain advice about a relationship, right? Protect your money, get a prenup, don't marry anyone that asks for a prenup. There's all kind of stuff, right? Don't live together before you get married, live together before you got married. So these are things that I want you to look at. What is the best advice you've gotten? What's the worst advice you have gotten? But also being able to decipher and identify, is this what worked for whoever's giving me the advice? Will this work for me? So that's where I want people to be open and flexible, but also be rigid in what are your deal breakers, right? What are things that you don't want to live without, right? Trust, loyalty, whatever it is. It could be great sex, Again, a lot of people look at, oh, it shouldn't be this way, it shouldn't be that way. You decide that. Right? And this doesn't mean double standard. This doesn't mean you get your way all the time. It's about what I call an ebb and flow. Everybody's heard of give and take. I use like an ebb and flow. What works best for you two? And it's mutual. It's reciprocated, right? It's not just one person giving 90% to the relationship. and the other person's given 10%. It's going to happen at times, right? Taking care of a sick relative, a kid. It's going to happen. I get that. But you don't want it 90%, 10%. That's the whole relationship. That's not healthy. Okay. So you look at, what is most important to you. And that goes with rules and boundaries. Absolutely. But also, what advice are you getting? Are you listening to other people? Are you looking at research? Are you looking at maybe advice from me, other professionals? And there could be biased people in the field, believe it or not, they're out there that they deem themselves as a Christian therapist or Christian counselor. So right there, that they are going to be biased with their own beliefs, their own value, and they might be inflicting those values and beliefs on you that you should live a certain way. So you need to be able to look at where you're getting that information from, okay? And does this, what? I really don't want to live that way, but I should live that way because they gave me the advice. If it doesn't work for you, you got to be listening to your gut instinct. Ehab, the problem in our culture is that it's extreme, either too open or too conservative. And Ehab, you know what? I don't think it's any different over here in the United States, okay? Kira, what's happening? So it's, extreme, either too open or too conservative. And I get that. And over in the U.S., and I don't know, the media can be biased. The media by the media here. We talked about this before about how biased it is, and being able to look at, one person, we have extremists on each side, right? And you have to look at what is fair, what is equitable. And we know, depending on culture, depending on if it's a dictatorship, if it's whatever, some areas, like Iran, there's certain standards that you could end up giving yourself killed, imprisoned for something that we might think in the United States that is insane. Why are lack of freedom of speech, lack of, very limited on freedoms and what you want to live. And this also is another aspect when you talk about advice that, how many people you're going to marry someone the same religion, the same culture, the same race, the same ethnicity. And they might mean well, but what if you don't get along? What if you don't like that culture? You don't align with it, even though you were raised with it, but you're supposed to do all that stuff, right? So when a wife confesses to her husband that she's dating someone and he says no problem, Ehab, that's a great tip. You know what? That happens over here too in the United States. Actually, Ehab, it happens in Europe and it happens in the United States. And it is extreme. But you have to look, it is extreme, but you have to look at what I tell people. If they're both okay with it, if they're both consenting adults, that's the big thing, right? That if they're both okay with it, I don't see a problem with it. That's a problem where one is, say, she's dating someone and her husband's not okay with it. Or he's dating somebody and they're married and she's not okay with it. Like I tell people, whatever works for them, I'm not here to dictate how you should live your life. I want to help you how you want to live your life and how I can help you get there. As long as it's consensual and it's agreed upon and it's not double standards. I'm not one that, it's okay for men to do this, but it's not okay for women to do this. Or it's okay for women to do this, but not men to do this. So, no, I dealt with this a lot, Ehab, where I work with extremes, opens. As you know, I work with open relationships. I work with poly situations. I work with different lifestyles. I had a brain fart for a minute. I deal with swingers. I deal with swapping, where they're friends and they swap partners. So I deal with a lot of different situations, but it's got to be about what is consensual to each couple. And each couple decides that. It's not one dictating, like one member, like the guy dictating to the wife. It's going to be this way. I'm the man. You have to listen to me. Oh, no, hell no. Or the wife dictating to her husband. It's going to be this way, and that's it. If you really love me, it's going to be. I'm not about manipulation, and it's got to be about consent. That is huge. If it's consensual and all parties agree, I don't have an issue with it as long as it's not hurting somebody and it's not hurting anyone else, that it's all consensual. I'm not about people lying, manipulating, abusing anybody else, using anybody else. In Egypt, the man listens all the time. Hilarious. You know what? Oh my God, Egypt's becoming just like the United States. No, or China too, right? That's a lot of people look at, it's a patriarchal society. In China, it's matriarchal, right? And certain cultures around the world, it's a matriarchal society. We could even look at, certain ape species, chimpanzees, the animal kingdom, where it's a matriarchal society. That cracks me up. Egypt, we'll have to get on a show, talk about cultural. There might not be that many cultural differences now in Egypt than there is in the United States. It's funny. In America, right? People joke around happy wife, happy life. I'm all about the happy house, happy spouse type of situation. So think about this, people. Where are you getting your advice from? Who's giving you that advice? What advice is it? And does it work for you? Okay. And Ehab, you're right. There is a difference in culture and law. I know there's a huge difference, Ehab, than, in the United States versus in Egypt when it comes into culture and law. And I think there's groups in the United States that I do not adhere to that are trying to bring it back to way it was in prehistoric times or ancient times, and trying to dictate how people should live now. And it's wrong. It's unjust. So no, I get that. You know me, I'm all about, freedom, all about a human. I'm a huge humanist, right? I'm all about what's best for people, not about fraudulent disrespect. I'm not about manipulating, lying, being deceitful, not at all. So I am going to say goodnight. Oh, before I say goodnight, make sure you check out my website, theartofrelationships.org. And again, my voice is going through puberty. It's done. It's shot. So check out my website, theartofrelationships.org. And also follow me. I'm very flattered that you spent your time watching. Or if you watch tomorrow, you can catch all my episodes. Probably the best part, the easiest, would be on YouTube. I'm all over social media. I appreciate it. Follow me at LoveGuruGreg, Greg. And I appreciate you spending your time. I'm very flattered. I mean that from my heart, people. It is, your time's valuable so you taking your time to watch, listen in, and hopefully I can provide some valuable insights that you can implement in your life now, today, right? Or if you're tired, maybe tomorrow, that you can implement in your own, identity, in your own pursuit of self-love and self-respect, but also in your own relationship, in your own marriage, dating life, okay? So I appreciate everybody, very peace and love to everybody out there. Everybody have a good night. Take care and keep promoting peace and love throughout the world, people. Take care.